Episode 314 is here, and special guest Henrique Jaime is here with us to talk about Marvel Television's Wonder Man, the 8-episode series now streaming on Disney+, and the first entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2026. A new episode of Watch, Review, Repeat begins now. Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode. My name is Colton Brown. Joining me is Andrew Meadows.
Hey there. We are doing it. Doing another episode.
Yeah, we're kicking off 2026 properly now that by the time this is out to the masses, it's March, but you know, what better time than March to truly begin our coverage of 2026 and all of the many films and television shows that will come out in 2026 then in March with this episode on Wonder Man, where people might think this is a Marvel thing. Are they missing someone? No, we are not missing someone. Henrique Jaime is with us, so welcome back to the pod. I don't think you've been on since Fantastic Four, is that right?
I don't think there's been... that's not true. There was Ironheart, but there haven't been too many Marvel properties since then.
Yeah. It's been relatively quiet. They did put their 3 movies out, but they were kind of in relatively close succession. I think it was like February, May, June or July, something like that. So, Ironheart did come and go. We didn't watch it, still haven't watched it, but another TV show came along by the name of Wonder Man, and we all watched it. So we've reassembled. Yeah. We got the band back together to talk about Wonder Man. So excited to bring you on. This is actually your first time on with the new format of Watch Review Repeat as well, which we introduced with episode 301. This is now 314. So we're getting used to this. Obviously,
it's a pie episode.
It is a pie episode.
I didn't realize it was the pie episode.
That's like a fun fact, I think. Yeah. Well, I had a cookie before we started recording. I don't know if that counts for anything.
I had pizza. We had pizza pie.
Yeah. Oh, I had a pizza pie for dinner. I mean, it was a square Detroit style pizza, so it's not really like pie-like, but
I don't know. I think that counts.
Yeah, I think so too. It ought to anyway. So anyway, we usually, as part of the new format, put the fun fact when we start talking about the actual thing. But god damn it, that's pretty fun.
That is pretty fun.
That's a good one. Off with. So, pie episode. It's the first time we've reached the threshold. So, other than episode 3.14, which was way back in the day, partway through episode 3. That's a pretty big milestone, a fun milestone.
That's cool.
So, before we dive into Wonder Man, the one thing that we've been doing for 2026 is Andrew has been bringing a mythological trivia question for me, which I've bumbled a few times, but now I have help. And now I have help, which is good. And of course, this is kind of in the lead up to the Odyssey. We did a couple episodes of putting 2025 to bed, and then we just did a big 3+ hour thing with their 2026 A Look Ahead episode, in which we talked about many things, including the Odyssey. And what I will say, this is a fun fact that I pointed out to Andrew, because we went for a long time that night. We had a lot of starts and stops that made it feel really, really long, but the actual edited version of that episode was the shortest version of that Look Ahead episode we've done since 2020, which is crazy, and it was still very long, I know, which is to say that those always end up being too long. But anyway, the Odyssey is a big deal, coming out in, I think, June, Christopher Nolan's next film, adaptation of the epic poem, And in the spirit of that, we decided let's do some Greek mythology type things. I guess we technically kickstarted it with our 300 and 300 Rise of an Empire bonus episode that we did to close 2025 with, but of course came out on the regular feed in 2026. So 2026 is kind of all about the Odyssey and a couple other things, but definitely the Odyssey is top of mind. So Andrew, do you have one?
Yes,
ready to go?
I got one picked out. This one is I think you'll all probably get this one. So
I don't
Achilles'
know. The other ones have been they've all felt like really easy in retrospect. And
I'm surprisingly bad at mythology, so we'll see.
Yeah. All right, lay it on us. Let's see what we
Achilles'
got.
Last Stand is a 10-minute song by what classic English rock band?
Oh,
A. Rolling Stones. B.
Okay.
Black Sabbath. C. Led Zeppelin. Or D. The Who.
I'm not 100%
You said you were bringing
sure
the-
on this one.
Colton said he was bringing the band back together. I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Oh yeah,
I feel like
you're right.
I know a good amount of songs from each of these bands, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. I have a guess.
I don't think it's the Stones. If we're sounding this out loud,
I don't know.
10-minute deal doesn't seem like on brand for them.
Yeah.
And then the mythology side, yeah. So
Right.
I could be very wrong, but I don't think it's the Stones. So I think we're down to B, C, or D.
Yeah. My guess
Zeppelin is interesting to me.
Well, my guess would be Led Zeppelin. It seems like a song that they would.
It seems like
do.
something they would do.
Yeah,
You know.
I can almost picture it. I can't hear it in my head, but I'm like, oh yeah, that checks out.
All right. I think we're on the same wavelength, so I think we better go ahead and lock in.
Final answer,
Zeppelin is our
C. Final answer. All right.
I think it's going to be our final answer.
Boom. You guys got it right. C. Led Zeppelin.
Hell yeah.
There you go. I'm like,
yeah.
I probably heard that song at some point, but I couldn't pin it down.
Well, might listen to it tonight.
I don't. Yeah. I honestly, I'm not sure if I've heard that song, but I think we all have to check it out now. So
Well, there
maybe
you
it's
go.
wonderful. Maybe it's a wonderful song, and maybe something else that is wonderful is Wonder Man.
Wonder.
I see what you did there. That was a good one.
Not Wonder Woman. She is wonderful in her own right too, but this is not a DC episode. This is a Marvel episode. We're talking about Wonder Man. So we are going to set things up for Wonder Man. I'll see if anyone has a fun fact to share. And then we'll do some non-spoilers, recommendations, spoilers, and then we'll finish up with, I do have a little listener's corner, I will say, preview of coming attractions. But then, of course, we'll catch up a little bit too. And that'll be the episode. So Wonder Man is 8 episodes, which are all streaming exclusively on Disney Plus, as we would have talked about on the last episode. They all dropped at the end of January 27th. So this has been on for about a month for us in terms of recording, and then a little bit longer than that, obviously, for the release of this particular episode. The show is created by Destin Daniel Cretton and Andrew Guest, stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Sir Ben Kingsley, Ex-Mayo, Zlatko, Zlatko Buric and Ariane Moayed. It's about actors Simon Williams and Trevor Slattery, who try to land roles in a remake of the superhero film Wonder Man. Does anyone have a fun fact? And Andrew, I wouldn't dare ask you, Henrique. Perhaps do you have a fun fact about Wonder Man?
That I feel like is very much in your alley. So if you were planning to say this, I apologize.
I have a reserve fun fact if no one came prepared, but I don't have anything super special. So I'm happy to hear what you have.
I had one that I don't think has come up. Maybe we've talked about it at some point just because we talked about all the other Marvel properties, but Wonder Man almost made his way into the MCU before.
Yes, that's right.
Very small, basically cameo, like Easter egg kind of thing. In Guardians of the Galaxy 2, there's supposed to be a movie poster for Wonder Man played by Nathan Fillion. And apparently this was shot and everything, but then it was scrapped from the final
I remember hearing
final
about
take
that.
of the movie. So there was a lot of speculation that Nathan Fillion would play Wonder Man since he kind of had
sort of done it
the
in
suit
a way.
and then like they had a little bit so that and I mean he's friends with James Gunn and they've done a lot of stuff together, but I think I could certainly see him in a more traditional Wonder Man role, but we almost had him, and I think even if there was some kind of cameo, there's so many universes and things now, like you could have still done the show, and it wouldn't
Yeah, right.
break the timeline
He
too
could still
much.
be Wonder Man, or this Wonder Man could be a different part of the multiverse, whatever. But yeah, no,
If they could have gotten him for the OG Wonder Man in this,
that would have been cool.
That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But alas, we almost had him, and now we got him.
Yeah, and I did see that. That was a good one. That was not actually what I had as my reserve, but what I will say is Nathan Fillion did get a chance to voice Wonder Man in the MODOK animated show that came out a few years ago. So he at least.
Oh yeah, I didn't end up watching that one.
I know, I never watched it either. I heard it was fun, but there's always too many things to watch. Story of our lives, the only thing I was going to say is kind of interesting is that this originally was actually two different series, and at a certain point they folded two projects together because they were separately developing a Simon Williams Wonder Man show, and then they were also developing a Trevor Slattery, continuing on from, I guess, Iron Man 3 and Shang-Chi, like just a straight up Trevor Slattery show, and at a certain point the decision was made, let's just do that as one thing, because they're kind of exploring similar ideas of two guys in Hollywood, and I would say that was maybe a good decision.
Pretty good idea.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about Wonder Man with some non-spoiler talk to kick things off. Enrique, what do you have to say about Wonder Man? Did you enjoy your time with these 8 episodes?
I think before I get into that, I have to talk about my viewing experience, which this is the first. This is the first show that I've watched since I ended up changing a bunch of TV plans and such, and now I have the Disney Plus with ads.
Oh no!
And it is
boy,
awful.
Oh boy,
it is atrocious.
Well, so your 30-minute episodes are now an hour.
Yeah, it almost soured the show a little bit for me. I just had to kind of push on, but good God, it's not just the ads, it's the fact that they just happen in the middle of a scene.
Oh yeah.
And it's the same ones over and over again.
None of these streaming shows are made with the commercial break in mind. It's one thing if it's at least structured for it to have a dramatic pause, but when it's just it's the same thing with podcasts. Sometimes it's just literally mid-sentence. Here's an ad. I'm like, well, I don't, frustrating.
And at least those you can kind of skip. Disney Plus, you can't skip the ads. It just comes on and you're stuck. So then you start checking your phone, you get distracted, you get sucked out of it. But anyway, I don't know if that's a plug to get the ad-free version or just
give
to
Disney
stay away.
More money.
But so take it as you will. But ads aside, I had a very pleasant time with the show. I enjoyed it more than I expected. I had started hearing some buzz about it, but I don't think I was really sold, and I probably would have gotten to it if we hadn't recorded, but if it had not been for this show, I might not have started it yet. I might have been on my to-do list. And so I'm glad that we're covering it today because I had a really enjoyable time. I think it took a little bit to fully grasp me, but by the middle of it, I was pretty hooked. And by the end, I really enjoyed my time with the show. I think the 8 episodes is a great length. It didn't overstay its welcome. And it's just enough to kind of capture me and tell the story and not have this overcomplicated narrative that has to tie into everything and lead to every next project. So I really appreciate the Spotlight series of it. I think it was actually the right format and in a streaming show in that Spotlight. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, more than I expected.
What about you, Andrew? Did you have a good time with Wonder Man?
So I consumed it without ads.
And how was your viewing experience? I guess that's relevant. Yeah.
It was
it better without ads?
Yeah, I watched it and I feel like I watched it in almost 3 episode chunks almost, with a week in between or so, a week or 2 in between. So short bursts is how I watched it. I feel like it's a real bingeable show, I have to say the title cards in the show are impeccable. I love the title cards in this one too. I think they're really good.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you choose to go if you go with an ad subscription on these things, I haven't done it yet, but for Christmas I asked for a Raspberry Pi, and apparently you can make your own DNS server on one of them, and they call it a pie hole. And it forwards all of the...
This ties into the pie episode.
Okay.
It does.
Is that where we're going with all this? Okay.
Yes, and it does. Yeah, they call it a pie hole, and and it routes all the traffic, all the ad traffic to it captures all the ads.
Oh,
and so it doesn't go to the screen; it goes to this instead, and so you end up not having to consume ads.
huh?
That goes for browsers. It goes for anything that's on your network. So, like your everything on your, like while you're browsing the web, you don't see ads in the browser. You don't see them on screen. I haven't tried it out yet, but it's on a to-do list. Anyways,
wow, okay, yeah, let us know.
The Wonder Man. I thought that it was it for me. Watched that first episode and I was hooked from Jump Street. I thought it was super engaging, very different than than everything we've gotten from Marvel. It felt like it just felt incredibly fresh. I think there were some super talented people on screen, and I think behind screen too. Like it was written very snappy. I think it was shot well. I don't know, just a big breath of fresh air for Marvel. I had a lot of fun with this show, a lot of fun. So,
yeah, I kind of agree with both of you in the sense that I feel like Andrew's response to the first few episodes of the show was kind of what spurred me to watching it in the first place, because it was something I was interested in, but you know, as I would have said a million times in the last episode, like, it's a lot of things I'd love to watch. There's a lot of things I don't make time for. And, you know, then eventually things fall by the wayside, and that's just how it goes. And so this one was definitely one that, like, the cast intrigued me. The premise intrigued me. You know, it felt a bit different, felt like it could be fun, you know, but you know, once we kind of had the push, it kind of felt like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on here. And I completely agree about it feeling like a breath of fresh air, because it is maybe the most un-Marvel-like thing that Marvel Studios as a company has done. I mean, everything has almost kind of at some point felt Marvel-like, you know. I think they've definitely strayed, you know, through a few different genres. I mean, obviously, I think on the film side of things, it's mostly a straight line, you know, with some aberrations. Like Thunderbolts was maybe deeper, you know, than maybe people expected it to be, but it was still pretty Marvel at the end of the day, I would say. Right. On the TV side of things, I think Loki definitely got you know, weird with it, but still, I think fundamentally felt Marvel, and like WandaVision, I guess too, was kind of maybe the closest thing. But by the end of WandaVision, pretty Marvel, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you had people flying around and lots of special effects and stuff like that, and there's a little bit of that in this. Don't get me wrong, a little bit of that, but not in the same way, you know. And I think it's interesting that the whole Marvel spotlight thing, you know, is kind of this idea that we're going to put this brand on character-driven, grounded stories. And there's only been 2 projects that they've put out under this banner. The first one was Echo, which I think until its last episode was kind of a very grounded, you know, sort of thing about Maya. And then that final episode, it got a little Marvel-y, you know what I mean? It was kind of like the weakest part of that show. Here, it felt like a very strong, cohesive vision. Echo always kind of felt like that was in the era of Marvel greenlighting everything. Every character gets something. Yeah. And like almost Wonder Man probably was part of that too, of just being like, yeah, fuck it, just make whatever. But it did kind of just feel like you know, you had a couple creative people who just like did it using these characters, but like kind of without any close supervision, just being like, let's just make your own little weird pocket of a show that can fit within the MCU. It's not breaking canon, and if it did, multiverse stuff, it's not, but it fits in there. You're integrating Trevor Slattery, who is someone who has had a little bit of an arc, you know, from being the Mandarin to the fake Mandarin to having a little bit of a, you know, what's going on with this guy in Shang-Chi, to now kind of being, you know, sort of one of your 2 main characters, or at least your main supporting character, if you will. And it's a very interesting arc for him. It's an interesting arc for Simon Williams, who is, brand new to us. I just found it very, very refreshing. I enjoyed the Hollywood side of things, having watched The Studio recently. Really, really enjoyed that. This is not quite in the same vein, but sort of, similar subject matter of, Hollywood and movie making and TV show making and stuff like that, which is kind of fun. And sort of this love and appreciation for Hollywood and stuff like that, which I really enjoyed. But at the end of the day, it's really just a compelling story about two characters that's not about superpowers or superpowered people.
Right.
But that's kind of just part of the fabric of the show is like, it's certainly important to the plot. It's relevant to the plot, but it is at the end of the day, just kind of about people, about characters, as opposed to we've got to build to a big third act fight between Wonder Man and not Wonderful Man. You know what I mean?
And then punch each other.
Big punches, some beams in the sky.
Yeah.
It's definitely a rejection of all of those things, which is really fun. And I really enjoyed that about it, of just how not Marvel like it was. I mean, it really was incredibly refreshing and just a very, very fun show. Very fun to watch. Funny.
Yeah. Funny.
It's very funny.
Had a lot of fun with it. So, those are my thoughts. I mean,
was Werewolf by Night also?
I was going to ask that. Yeah,
I thought about that. So they've now switched things. I checked. That was a special presentation. I don't think it was technically a spotlight because I think the holiday special, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, I think was the same thing.
Yeah, that too. And those are maybe more like movie specials,
right? Those are like one equivalent of, I guess, one episode type deals. I guess is just that sort of thing. And obviously, we haven't really seen Werewolf by Night paid off in any sort of major way past that. But hopefully, and hopefully it's true of this show. Hopefully this isn't a one and done. I think there's definitely a way to take this character forward, whether it's season 2, whether it's crossing him over with some other characters that might make sense. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get a Simon Williams and Doomsday or anything like that, but
Right. I don't know if I need that, because I think he works so well not as a superhero and as an actor.
Right.
And that, alongside Trevor Slattery, whereas like if you put him in a big Avengers movie, I don't know that I'm as interested in that character.
Kind of loses.
It's just his power and not the character, but I imagine they'll bring him back in some form, but I would like to see it like in this more grounded level, like really focusing on him and his story.
I feel like he doesn't want to. The character itself doesn't focus on being a superhero. He tries to I don't want to.
Right.
I just want to be an actor.
He doesn't want to. Yeah, he specifically doesn't want to.
He's just a guy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like his life. I think if he could choose, he would not have superpowers.
Right.
It gets in the way of what he wants to be, which is an actor and not a hero. Like he essentially rejects the powers and tries to hide it, and it's something that he has to do, because then if like we see later on, which we can get into, like if he shows that he has powers, then he can't be an actor.
Right. Yeah. It's I agree with you, Henrique, that I would be. It would just lose some of its splendor seeing him kind of interact.
Kind of what made it special.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I think there's probably more places to explore these things fully and spoilers. So, and it sounds like we all have a general sentiment that we enjoyed this show pretty well. Oh, and also I didn't say my viewing experience. I watched it without ads, and I actually watched most of it on vacation. Phone? I didn't watch it on my phone. I did not.
I was waiting for you to say
you watched it on the screen of the plane while you were flying down.
No, I didn't watch. Actually, I watched basketball on my flight home, but I'll talk about those things later. No, I watched it on a proper TV with at least a sound bar, and I did finish it back at home. Once I got back home, I stayed up late and finished it up so that we could start on time and not keep everyone up all night. So, and no ads throughout. Very important, because it's I guess that's maybe one last thing to say before we jump into recommendation. I think the episodes are really well paced. It's like, a lot of the Marvel shows and a lot of shows in general these days, it's like 25 minutes, 70 minutes, 54 minutes, and it's just so all over the place of what you get.
Yeah.
Stranger Things,
Stranger Things,
6 hours.
yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it really is just all over the map. I think there's one episode in here that's actually shorter, but they're all like 35 minutes, and they all felt really breezy and just like, I don't know, it just felt very well paced to me. And like each episode was kind of its own thing, and some of it's a little less important to the overall plot. You know, there's like definitely an episode or two that's kind of just like a little side deal that happens that doesn't really amount to anything.
Relevant.
But it's
still
you know
explains.
it is furthering the story, and then you know it's not a show that has a seismic penultimate episode where there's big things that happen, you know what I mean, but it's not Game of Thrones level events or anything like that. It's just not that kind of show. But I enjoyed that it was a pretty grounded, pretty realistic story with a dash of superpowers and a dash of Marvelness, but not again the third act everyone's punching each other, you know, sort of zipping around in the sky sort of deal. It's really very much not that, and it's consistently not that, which I enjoyed. So if we want to do recommendation, if we're ready to go there, if is everyone comfortable going there?
Yeah.
Get more into spoilers. So our TV recommendation for those listening who don't remember, and why would you? The top of the scale is very yes. That will be followed by yes with a middle ground of totally fine, and then we drop down to fine, and then the worst thing that we can hand out for a TV show, unless we just make up something new, is shithouse. So don't think we're doing that here. But do we want to do the same order? Does anyone have strong feelings on where Wonder Man stacks up on this scale?
I do.
All right,
I feel pretty good about it.
Right.
How
good do you feel about it?
I feel very yes. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
I think that
that's what we're here for.
I think this show does everything that it intends to do, and I think it does it really well. I think the characterization is outstanding. The acting is excellent. I think it's well written. It's snappy. It's like you said, it's paced well. Doesn't overstay its welcome. Short, concise episodes. Short overall episode count. It just feels totally encapsulated, and it just feels like it's just a real tight, well made show.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I think that there's something here for folks that don't necessarily want to watch a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
You can get anybody watching this show.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's a good thing that we're doing this as an episode, because this is very much something that feels like it would fly under the radar. You know, even though it is coming from Disney, even though it is a part of the MCU and from Marvel Studios, I don't know that it's getting a huge push. I know they've done some fun marketing stuff with it, but it just doesn't feel like something that is part of the cultural zeitgeist right now. And maybe it should be in the conversation more. I think it's a show that it does definitely appeal, I think, to more than just, I mean, even it might appeal less to the people that really, really love the normal Marvel stuff, and it'll probably appeal more to people that just, have no interest in that anymore, or if they ever did, you know what I mean? So yeah, we're not that Disney needs our help, whatever, but at the same time, it is nice to see, and it's one of those things. I mean, I think they've already said that, like, if we want to see a second season, then people got to watch the show. So if we selfishly want to see more, then I guess we got to put the good word out there. You know what I mean? So anyway, Henrique, what do you think? Is this a very yes show for you as well?
Yeah. It's let's see. I think for me, this is a really strong yes. I think it's not on the tier for me, or some of like the top tier, like the best television shows that I've seen in the past year, but it was really solid. And again, better than I expected. I kind of figured, especially on the TV side, I feel like Marvel has been stumbling like quite a bit.
Definitely.
Yeah. Whereas like the movies, I think we're starting to see the vision, and maybe it's coming together. But the TV shows, I have not had the highest hopes for, and this I thought was quite good. It was really enjoyable, and I think it's a solid, strong yes for me.
All right, that's fair. I'm gonna throw a hot take out there. This is the best TV show that I have seen in 2026. Of TV shows that came out in 2026.
Okay.
So it is also the only one, and yes, of course that is the joke. But I wouldn't make that joke if I didn't like the show. I mean, I guess I could, but I would do the other version. I would say it's the worst TV show of 2026. No, I usually rate these things pretty generously. I don't know that it's my favorite Marvel television show, but I'm going to give it a very yes.
What other ones are there? Real quick, you have
just period. I mean, Daredevil.
Daredevil. Yeah, okay.
All of Daredevil, I guess, if you're including Netflix
Loki,
stuff.
WandaVision, or
Loki and WandaVision.
Those are
top.
good.
I think I gave both very yes.
Hawkeye, I think, is a really tight, good 6-episode deal as well.
It's pretty good.
You know, on the flip side, there's your Secret
Marvel.
Invasions and, some other ones that didn't work so well. But, Moon Knight. Moon Knight's in there. And I think this is better than a Moon Knight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this was more consistent for sure.
Yeah,
I think it's very consistent. Very consistent show.
I think its ambitions are certainly lower than a Moon Knight or Loki or WandaVision or any of those. Like, I think earlier, once Disney Plus launched, we're making every character into a show or spinning off them into a show. Like, this is definitely not that sort of thing. It doesn't feel like a movie that's been put into a TV show or something that could have been a movie. Like this stuff, this very, very much feels like a TV show, but just like Andrew said, like a tight little TV show that, is funny, tells a compelling story, gives you some interesting arcs for these characters. Some who are returning, like Trevor Slattery. It's a really fun vehicle for two great fucking actors and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Sir Ben Kingsley. I mean, it's really fun to have both very, very talented people in the MCU in this particular way is very fascinating. I mean, especially for Ben Kingsley. I think I don't know. It feels like it's so funny that like this is the role that he has, but I do think that he's incredible. I mean, I think for what this character is, who's kind of a joke, but maybe not, maybe he's actually sort of a guy, and that's kind of what this show gives you is, how fucked up do you have to be as a person in terms of, what you're doing in your life that, you willingly accept the role of being a fake terrorist, to be the face.
Lots of drugs and booze.
Lots of drugs and booze and a great desire for acting. It was a little Kingpin, sorry. But anyway, I'm going to give it a very yes. I usually rate these things generously, but I do think that this is upper tier Marvel TV at a minimum, and I think it accomplishes everything that it attempts to accomplish. There wasn't anything in this show where I thought it, swung at something and then missed, or I don't know. I mean, I think it really just kind of nailed what it was. What it wasn't the best Marvel show ever, but a really good one, like a really, really good, solid, compelling, funny show. And that's great. If all the Marvel shows were like that, we would have no complaints. You know what I mean?
That's true.
All right, well, let's go into some spoilers then. We've got some things to talk about in spoilers. So full spoilers for Wonder Man. How should we do this? You want to just jump around? We want to go through various episodes? If anyone has any quick, immediate thoughts, I'm happy to go wherever.
Yeah. I texted you, Colton. With the I'm gonna go out on a limb here. My favorite episode is
we can do
one where they show up at the director's house with the other actors.
Okay.
Is that 6? 5 or 6?
I I think 6, right? This is callback. I think it's called Callback. They show up, and both Simon and Trevor have gotten a callback to be at Von Kovac's house because he's directing Wonder Man.
That might have been my favorite. Maybe that's a.
He texted me something, and then by the time I went to check it, it said your text message has been retracted or whatever the hell it said. I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that.
Oh, was it spoilers?
Yeah, because I didn't know if you had seen it yet or not.
Well,
holy shit!
I don't think I
dream
had,
sequence. Yeah, so I deleted it.
Andrew Meadows unsent a message is what it says. I will never know what it said, but now I know.
Oh,
it said something like "Holy shit, that dream sequence" or something, and yeah, man, punches a hole right in that guy's face.
I was gonna say, but yeah, okay. When he's like, I thought that was real at first, and I was like, well, shit. Where do we go from here? He's a murder man.
Guess the gig's up. Oh well.
Yeah, but that's how powerful he is, though. Like he knows, which I think is really interesting that he knows, and a lot of the people in his life know. And I guess he doesn't always acknowledge that. Like, it seemed like, I guess going back a couple episodes when he and Trevor go to his mom's birthday party, then they get in the argument at the end, and he smashes the kitchen island. I got the impression they clearly knew this was not the first time they've seen his powers.
Right.
Like, they weren't like, oh my God, like, what did you do? Like, it wasn't that kind of shock. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh no. It wasn't
not again, here we go again. Yeah, it felt more like that to me. Uh-huh. Yeah. And clearly they're all comfortable with him. I mean, like, I think the next time we see his brother, he's being a little bit chummier because he's had some more success. But his mom is clearly supportive the whole way through, and clear that she's at least comfortable enough that that's still her son, even with some superpowers that fucked up her kitchen real good.
Yeah, brand new kitchen. Brand new kitchen. Oh, damn,
yeah.
That was a shame. But and then we find out, like, earlier in the series, he and his girlfriend break up because he's not letting her in, and he's being so closed off, and she's an actor in Hollywood as well. And then when they get interviewed, and oh my God, I'm blanking on her name.
Oh,
Kathy Friedman.
Kathy Friedman.
Mm-hmm. Kathy Friedman. And she's going around investigating, their personal lives, and she interviews his girlfriend. He's like, "Oh shit, what did she say?" And she's like, "I knew about your powers, dude. Like, I lived with you. Like, obviously,
yeah.
You just
all the tapestries on the wall, hiding the many holes or whatever."
Which I thought was a really special scene of, like, she was waiting for him to tell her he had the powers, and even though it would make him very vulnerable. And he never did, and that's essentially, I think, one of the big things that probably led to them breaking up. And it seems like it's a constant theme in his life of not being able to fully trust people and such. But it's really interesting, and I think the whole show revolves around his dynamic with Trevor and their friendship and how they can both trust each other. And then the betrayal at the end feels so awful to Simon.
Yeah,
because he's like, he finally had a friend. Like, his mom is like, I thought he was okay being alone, but like, he actually was lonely, and it's so nice to see him have a friend. And I think Trevor did think of himself as a friend and like as a true friend, even though he had to spy on him for damage control to not go to prison. But there was a genuine friendship and relationship between the two, and I think they both really sold it so well. And I think if that doesn't work, this show doesn't work. But because both of the leads were so stellar and they both had such good chemistry with each other, that's probably the number one thing that made the show for me was the two of them together.
Yeah,
no, I totally agree.
I enjoyed the dynamic too, the parallel between what they're rehearsing for and the roles that they're trying to get in the what happens in Wonder Man the movie and the show and then and then their dynamic too. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that parallel their
Barnaby's betrayal, and Trevor's betrayal. Oh.
How could Barnaby do that to you?
It really does come down to those two, and I think what's interesting is they're both very imperfect in their own ways, and yet they really better each other. I mean, obviously, there's some subterfuge from Trevor that becomes a huge problem, in the second to last episode of the show. But like when we're introduced to Simon, he overthinks everything. He gets fired from Horror Story because he wants to give input on his character that has one line before he gets killed, and they're just like, fuck it, we're not dealing with this fucking guy. And he's kind of like that throughout the whole thing. I mean, it's really funny. You get the reversal of that with the Kathy Friedman episode where Simon's freaking out because they're talking to his brother, they're talking to his ex-girlfriend, and talking to his mother, and it's like, oh, well, she's gonna find out, like what I'm hiding. Mm-hmm. And as it turns out, when she gets to Trevor, she just fucking rips him to shreds, and then he, he fucking loses it. And that was fun because Trevor has, in that callback episode, they get kind of put on the spot of, here's your character, go, and Trevor just nails it. Like he's just got that sort of natural charm and charisma that he can just turn on and light up a room. And yet that was the one scene where Trevor's actually kind of pushed and challenged, and he just immediately kind of folds. Obviously, certainly when option 1 is prison and option 2 is, hey, no prison, then, he goes with option 2 and he kind of folds there too. But yeah, again, they're both like imperfect characters, but they do find that true friendship with each other, which I really, really liked. Their dynamic was just so much fun, and they really did kind of better each other in their own sorts of ways. And so it was kind of, I don't know, I mean, it was sort of, it was pretty touching. It was like a fun MCU callback for episode 7 for him to kind of return to the Mandarin persona and lean into that as a way of kind of getting Simon out of, the big hole of, blowing up a whole fucking studio, or backlot, I guess, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just found the evolution of those two characters and sort of the kind of ways that the plot, veers and zigzags was really, really interesting to see and kind of map throughout the whole show. So, yeah.
Practice your box breathing. However it says
box breathing.
Yeah. The box breathing. I think when I really got sold and could tell that this was a genuine friendship is I think the episode when they go to his mom's party and then Trevor sees his upbringing and he's there on a con mission. Like he's trying to get information so he doesn't go to jail. And really the entire time I'm thinking like, Trevor seems like a nice guy, but like ultimately he's doing it for his own good. Like he wants to be out of prison. He wants to, he's doing a job to get close to Simon so he can give them information so they can lock him up essentially. And then he realizes like who he is. And was that before or after they have to do this tape?
I think that was after, because I think the self-tape is episode 2, and so that's really where I
thought that was earlier.
Start to bond, so and then I think this is kind of that like almost the strengthening of the bond of just seeing, like you said, who Simon actually really is, because he's not a dangerous criminal, he's not a dangerous superhuman mutant, whatever. There's no real explanation for the powers, whatever's going on there, but but clearly he gets upset and it can lead to dangerous situations, but he himself is not necessarily someone that is a threat, so that was good.
And I think the fact that first Simon stands up for Trevor when he's meeting up with Joey Pants. Yeah. And he's just like shitting on Trevor the entire time. And Simon's like, "Oh man, like that's not cool. That's condescending as shit. Like this is awful. Like we should get out of here." And I don't know that Trevor has a lot of people doing that for him. And then when he turns around and destroys the evidence that he had that would have been enough probably to get the damage control and get his plea bargain and be done with it, he specifically chose like, no, I'm going to protect him. And that's when I saw like, okay, this is like they're thinking beyond themselves and like really looking out for each other.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my favorite episode, but I do think a standout episode was the doorman episode.
The doorman.
Oh yeah,
That was wild.
That was really stylish. It was fun. It was crazy and wild and different. And I thought, even though it is sort of this departure from the rest of the series, it's hugely important to the series itself in terms of, I guess the doorman policy or doorman clause, I guess is what they call it. No superpowered people working in Hollywood, because if you use special, if you use that, some liability issues, you use your superpowers and you accidentally disappear Josh Gad. Well, it's not in everyone's interest for that to happen again.
That was nuts. That was.
I did enjoy the small cameos. Again, that's something like the studio was very
like
reliant
the real world,
on. But just to have a few in here are fun. Obviously, Josh Gad is happy to, I'm sure, do a favor for Disney and be a kind of kooky version of himself here. But he was fun, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But this episode was just it was like neat the way it was shot. The kind of the usage of the powers, like it is kind of the most like full on super powered-y sort of thing that you get in this whole show, which is kind of interesting that it's kind of in this pseudo bottle episode in a way. But it was really cool. It was really stylish, and I was kind of just like, oh, okay. And then certainly the way it ends is like, okay.
Is that a real?
I watched that and I was just like, what the?
What was your question?
Is he a real Marvel character?
Yeah.
I looked it up after the fact. I was unfamiliar, but Damar Davis is in fact a superhero by the name of Doorman, and his comic book costume is basically what he wears in the movie I think that he's shooting. That kind of has almost like a symbiote Spider-Man look appearance with the all black and white eyes, but his powers are pretty much
creates doors
as is. I think he's a mutant in the comics is the explanation, but yeah.
And is Wonder Man? Wonder Man's a mutant, right?
I don't.
I think not technically. Like,
I'm not sure.
I don't think he has like traditional like X gene, because he gets it from I think in the comics he gets it from AIM, but he has ion powers and stuff. But he's not a typical mutant in the comics.
He was made. He was.
Yeah, I could see him him and his brother. He was actually in the animated series Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Right, yeah.
But in that one, he's like a complete ion being and not just a regular kind of superpowered being. But apparently he's not typically a mutant in the comics.
According to Wikipedia, his traditional comic book origin is he's exposed to chemical and radiation treatments with ionic energy at the hands of Baron Zemo, which gave him superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, and reflexes. In the process, unexpectedly enlaced PIM particles in the ion ray bombardment. So they did not get into any of that. They very much sidestepped the origin of his powers here, which is to say, I think he could just be a mutant here if we're kind of getting into the point where, I feel like Miss Marvel is now canonically a mutant in the MCU, right? I feel like they gave her the little at one point in the show. So, I think with obviously the Fox and Disney stuff all fully resolved at this point, they could certainly just go that direction with, I think, a lot of characters of just, is he going to have a past as a kid with Baron Zemo? Yeah, probably not. Right, you know what I mean? Probably not.
No, I don't think Baron Zemo's coming into this. Yeah,
probably not. So.
Yeah, I think he joins the Masters of Evil and then leaves. So he's kind of a villain at first, and then joins different Avengers groups and such. And then he gets was it? I don't remember if he's already dead at this point, but Ultron uses his consciousness to build the Vision.
Right. Yeah. Like his brain
I don't think that's
waves
gonna
or
happen
pattern or
in
what
in the MCU. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not going to go that way, but comics, that's how they do these things.
Right.
What else is there to talk about? Any other episodes that stood out to anyone? Parts of episodes, I guess, scenes.
I enjoyed the scene with the dipshit that takes that records the video.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that I really enjoyed that episode. That was so
one.
fun.
That was a good one.
When they have to chase him down, and he has to go shake down his other friend, and it looks like they're making like this drug operation, but they're just making like chamoy peach rings. And then it's like, no, these are clearly laced with drugs. And then what does Ben Kingsley say when he takes them? He's like, I feel like Cher. What did he say? Like doing cocaine up her bum or something? And I was like, I don't remember the exact quote, but I'm like, what?
Oh God, Ben Kingsley.
He was so funny in this, like,
and
like legitimately really funny.
Really funny. And I don't know how. I mean, I think probably I don't know that any of us love Iron Man 3. And I think that I don't know. It's to me, it's interesting that
It's not my top. No,
they've sort of retroactively made that movie better. I think in the years since because Shang-Chi gave us a little bit of character redemption for Trevor Slattery, and then I think very much
and we get the real Mandarin.
But I think also having Wenwu as like here's a real deal Mandarin, maybe not the 10 rings fully, like literally magic alien space rings or whatever, but having that sort of there kind of felt like, okay, we've now kind of course corrected in a way from the things that maybe felt like, well, why are you doing this? Why would you do things this way? And Iron Man 3 is an interesting character piece. We probably would have talked about it on a bonus episode we did many years ago, but
probably.
I don't know. I do have a kind of a bigger appreciation for it, and maybe it's just in my head. And if I actually rewatch that, I'd be like, it's fine still. But I liked that we're getting this weird fucking show with the fake Mandarin, was really fun. And it leaned into that. You see like little slivers of, like his audition tape where he gets into character, which was like kind of interesting to see for a second there,
when people recognize him on the street.
When people recognize
him, you're the Mandarin.
Why do you look familiar? Oh, I think he used to be a terrorist. What? It's very funny.
Can you imagine that? Like, it's just an actor that kind of like fell off that just then played a terrorist. Like that's nuts.
Man, that's funny.
Fucking good. Yeah.
And of course, he loses his role. He makes a big sacrifice to again reprise the role of the Mandarin.
That was touching.
Yeah, I thought that was nice and a good callback and a good kind of clever way to at least sort of temporarily get Simon out of hot water and divert the attention from him at least. I don't know. That worked. That worked for me.
I found myself really rooting for Simon more than I have for some other characters. Of just like, I don't know, if like just getting to know him, his family, his background, and like you said, he's imperfect, but like wanted to root for him.
He's genuine and well-meaning. He's like maybe a little neurotic, I guess, almost.
Like he has certain tendencies, and like he doesn't want to be a superhero. He just wants to be an actor, and Wonder Man. I like the connection that he has to the original movie. They keep going back to him and his father,
with his dad.
Going to the theater.
Sure. Yeah, it was good.
And he's like, it's like, really, like, I think you have something, like you could be an actor, and that becomes his entire calling in his life, even after his dad has died. Of like, I think there's a lot of like, I'm trying to please him, and he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and at this point, not a lot of people believe in him. His girlfriend has left him. Like, his mom supports him, but I think he doesn't have the full understanding of what's going on in Hollywood. And his brother's like, just get a job. Like, I have this company. Like, you can work for me. Like, give up this like silly thing. Like, we have to support you. And he just sticks to his beliefs. And I think to his credit, like, he knows he has the talent. He's just not able to do it. And sometimes he even gets in his own way. But then when he gets essentially mentored by Trevor, like that's when he really flourishes, and the relationship they have, especially even after they get cast in Von Kovac's remake of Wonder Man, where you can just see that they trust each other, and like they get asked questions, and he's like, well, I'm gonna listen to whatever Trevor says when they're talking about getting roles in TV shows and everything like that. He just defers to Trevor, and like you could see the trust that he has for him. So it was really touching to see, and certainly the betrayal weighs heavily, and I think it works because of how connected they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Definitely. Well, how about the way it all wraps up? I mean,
That was interesting.
Trevor goes to prison, and then Wonder Man's a big success. We kind of get the premiere. We got the costume reveal. We didn't really talk about that. I mean, it's interesting because there's never really a point in this where like Wonder Man is treated as his own superhero character. That, again, to tie into what we sort of said earlier, that it would make sense naturally for Wonder Man to suddenly be a member of the Avengers, because it's never really contemplated. Like, Wonder Man's kind of in universe a fictional character from the 80s, now a reimagined version of him, so it definitely doesn't get to a point where it feels like Simon's anywhere close to even wanting to be a superhero or in a position to be one, just period. So that is kind of an interesting thing, just as an aside within that. But yeah, Trevor's in prison, having kind of taken the fall for what happened, and given Simon a chance to be successful to make this movie. Unfortunately, Joey Pants steals that role of Barnaby, steals it right out from Trevor Slattery. Yeah, that was funny. And then, since Wonder Man's a big success, Simon gets to pick his new project, and he starts studying this guy, and that was a really interesting way that it kind of went, because I was kept going and going and going, and I'm like, where is this going? Like, what's about to happen here? And then I think it becomes pretty obvious at a certain point, and it really just ends with him using his powers to break his friend Trevor out of prison. So and that's kind of where we leave things. So a pretty big sort of moment to kind of leave on it, which is good, I think, as a ending of season 1. I don't know. I like it. I think it could stand on its own as sort of a completion of their arc of obviously acceptance of the fact that Trevor betrayed him, but maybe there was some genuine, well-meaning friendship there, but definitely a future that's, I think, possible with this, like definitely an intriguing future should these characters pop up somewhere else, whether it's be season 2 or something else. So yeah, how'd you guys feel about how it all wrapped up, and maybe what would you like to see in the future? Word up to you.
I mean, I certainly, like we were saying, not trying to see him in a big team up movie, so I'm not opposed to him being a superhero. I think it's got to be done in a certain way.
I think we almost need like another season to even get to that point, in a way.
The only time he really uses his power willingly is to help Trevor. Like when they're caught up with that, with the people trying to run him down. And then at the very end, like every other time, he's trying actively not to use his power,
like
not
his
to let it get out
emotions
of control.
are causing.
Yeah, he's not in control.
Unintended usage.
Yeah.
He's in control at the
even
end.
when they're gonna go after the bike, like he's like, I'm just gonna pretend to be a cop. Like I'm not gonna use my powers or anything. I was on the episode of SVU. I can do it. But I did like it because of the way it's done and like why he uses powers. So I'm okay with that. I think it would be really interesting if he does become a superhero Wonder Man, because then it's like, oh, you played that character and now you are that character. Like that's pretty interesting. Like we haven't seen that in the MCU, so I don't know how that would shake out, but it would be pretty different.
And I think it could be pretty funny to have certain characters being like, don't you just play it, and like you're not actually a fucking superhero, like you're just an actor,
right.
I think that dynamic could be pretty fun if explored down the line. But yeah,
if we didn't get another episode or another season of it, I'd be okay. I like this had a very clear defined arc. Make a movie, right? We're gonna make a movie. We got to get this role, make this movie. I don't know. If they do make another one, I hope it's like just as clear and concise of what the goal is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and hopefully it's the same people, making it, getting the band back together. To quote myself from an hour ago, but
yeah, shout out to Destin Daniel Cretton. Like I maybe should have given him more credit and the people behind this show, but I don't know. It just kind of came and almost went, and I almost missed it.
Yeah. No, he's good. I mean, he's clearly got a pretty good thing going with Marvel now. He's directing the upcoming Spider-Man movie. And obviously he did Shang-Chi prior to this too. So at one point was going to do the Kang Dynasty, but things happened there.
Oh, that's okay. Do we think Damage Control is going to continue to be this big role? Because like they showed up in Spider-Man, but not really in a huge way.
Well,
like
I think
they're I don't know. They're being a little icy,
Just a little bit. I think we're definitely getting shades of that side of things with the Daredevil Mayor Fisk anti-vigilante task force is very much, I think, sort of coded that way. But yeah, this is definitely sort of government overreach. If we perceive you to be a threat, I guess we better lock you up. That's definitely something that's interesting to see. I think. I don't remember because I've only seen the show once. Apparently, this Damage Control guy was in Miss Marvel. I think is what I read.
Yeah, he's been in other stuff.
That's right. He was in No Way Home.
I think that sounds right.
Too. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he was in No Way Home for sure.
Yeah, okay, I do remember him there. But again, it's been now a few years since Miss Marvel came along, and only watched it the one time. But yeah, no, that's interesting to see that little sort of. There's connective tissue here, but it's not in your face, and it's not the point. You know what I mean? It's not essential to your understanding.
You don't need
show.
it. Yeah. You could go in without it. Just be like, hey, this guy used to play a terrorist, and there's your background.
And Von Kovac was a dictator in Superman, but he's here and he's a cool director now, so it's fine.
Yeah.
He was. You're right. He was same guy.
Yeah.
He got dropped out of the sky.
Yeah,
by Hot Girl, and then he was reborn in the body of Von Kovac, the auteur.
It's interesting too that some of the a lot of the weird, our world stuff exists in this universe. Like Josh Gad plays Olaf, and they're talking about him as being Olaf, and then. A lot of the Ben Kingsley movies are also in universe too, in his apartment and such. Okay. So it's it seems like it's Trevor Slattery as Ben Kingsley. I guess Trevor Slattery is Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, there's no Ben Kingsley in this
right. Yeah. So it's just an interesting way they've done the universe.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I guess for my money, I'll say. Bring on a season 2, bring it back together. I'd like to see more. I think that I would be more interested in seeing a relatively self-contained season 2 before I see these characters pop up elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think, or, the only, with the exception being if there's a billboard for the Wonder Man movie in Avengers, that would be fun. You know what I mean? Something like that would be fun. Just a very kind of small sort of thing, like the way that we had Rogers the musical kind of, pop up here and there throughout the MCU. I think something along those lines could be very cool to show that it's connected. I mean, timeline wise, I don't really know exactly. I assume this is more or less present day for the MCU, where which I feel like is a few years ahead of us now.
At this point, yeah,
it's hard to keep track of it at this point. To be honest, so. But yeah, I would like to see more. If this is it, I think it works. It stands on its own. But I would be happy to see more. So that's I guess that's Wonder Man. Guess that's what there is to say on Wonder Man. All right, before we catch up on things, who would like to hear a very small sliver of the listener's corner?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Bruce Brown has written in once again to tell us about 2 things. The second one is kind of fun because it ties into what Andrew and I sort of started the conversation our last episode with. But first, he said he watched Untamed on Netflix with Eric Bana in it. Very good, 6 parts, moved along quickly. Planned one and done, but has done well, and so apparently they're now making a second season of it. I'm not familiar with this, so hard. Okay, it's a recommendation. That's why it's on the listener's corner. But I really don't know a lot about it. But I do like Eric. Bana, so there's that. And then finally, watch the end of Yellowstone, season 5, part 2. He's in a similar position as
Pops, my dad.
As your dad, as you talked about when we talked about all the Yellowstone happenings in our look ahead episode. But regarding the end of Yellowstone, he says it was excellent, acting was top notch, writing, sets, etc. Not the typical everyone ends up happy, lives on forever, but overall exceptionally well done. So, and again, just to reiterate what we did say, yes, the mainline Yellowstone is done. Kevin Costner is making his own Western movies and doing whatever the hell he wants to do with his own money. But they're making a bunch of spinoffs, so it will probably go on for a good long while.
Yeah, there's like
there's ones in the past. There's another one in the past. There's one after that, Marshalls or something. Yeah,
Marshalls. Yeah, there you go.
You know, that's a whole thing, and I'm sure it will continue to be a whole thing for a good while. So, all right, well, time to catch up, Henrique. I'm gonna kick it to you if you have some things from the however long, whether it's recent or since we last chatted, that you'd like to talk about and. Recommend.
I'll focus on some recent things. I try to chime in on the year in review.
That's true. We did hear from you there, so appreciate your contribution that way. Yeah.
So I'm just not watching movies. I don't know what it is, and I've been some TV, but I don't know where the time goes. I just haven't watched a movie in
probably
a while. Probably
eats up time, sleeping,
work stuff,
eating.
Yeah. I've been sleeping pretty decent amount. I also have the flu, so sleeping more.
Yeah. They say you sound okay. I didn't really think about it.
Yeah, it's been like
roughed you up for
over
a bit.
2 weeks now, but it was it was just about around the Super Bowl time, so I was gonna make a shout out to. Seems like a lot of people watch the Super Bowl.
Sure.
And during halftime, I had to turn away and go watch the Turning Point halftime show. Because no way. There's no hopefully not a lot of people did that because I think if they did, they missed out.
Well, we know the people that set that up didn't even do that because all they could do the next day was complain about Bad Bunny. And it's like, oh, so you weren't watching Kid Rock, were you?
But I think if you did that, you missed out on what I thought, not objectively because, I don't think I'd be objective about it. I thought it was legitimately a fantastic halftime show. And I think it's going to go down as one of the ones, probably because of all the controversy that had been happening around it. And then the fact that he just comes out and just has a good time for 13 minutes. It's so positive. I thought the messaging of it, I thought just a spectacular halftime show. I think if you don't know a lick of Spanish or don't listen to Bad Bunny, you could still catch it and enjoy it for what it is. And then if you are familiar with him, you get a lot of the background. There's just so much history on it. The entire sets and everything I think are so impressive. Just the story that's being told in a confined stage was, I thought, incredible. And I just gave me chills watching it and rewatching it, which I have a couple times now. So if someone hasn't seen that, I would recommend just going on YouTube or wherever you can and checking it out. But, I assume you all saw it while watching the Super Bowl and
oh yeah,
checked some of it out.
Yep, sure did. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a great halftime show. I had it on my list of things to talk about, but I think you you covered pretty much everything that I probably would have said. And I know you're definitely a bigger Bad Bunny fan than I'm sure either Andrew or myself. I think it was only a few years ago.
Andrew's a man of the island.
Well, now we're very different people now. But it was just a few years ago. We're not afraid to admit it that we didn't know who the fuck Bad Bunny was. We thought he was Psycho Bunny, and had no idea what was going on with the Bad Bunny. But no, I mean he's. I still don't need any El Muerto from him or anything like that, but but no, I get it now. And I think clearly has a presence. The music is fun. It was very colorful and enjoyable. He also just had Jessica Alba and Pedro Pascal and everyone just fucking hanging out.
People having a good time.
I'm like, that's fucking cool. That's great. Like that,
Yeah. It's just a good time and great message. Loved having Ricky Martin on there.
Ricky Martin, that was fun.
Dude does not look in his 50s.
He's aging. He's aging well, man.
I was like, Ricky Martin looks better now than he did 20 years ago. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? He was great. I love.
The game itself was a pretty one-sided affair, as I think most people expected. Walking in, and Jaguars weren't there, so it was like whatever. But
some kind of birds won.
Bird adjacent team won.
Yeah, type of birds won.
I'm usually not broken up when the Patriots lose, I'll be honest. So, it was good. It was solid, fun Super Bowl. The halftime show might have, well, I think was the standout part of it, though,
No, yeah, that was probably the most exciting part.
The commercials were kind of whatever this year. I kind of feel like, I don't know, nothing really stood out to me in a big way.
There wasn't one in particular.
Yeah, I don't know. There just wasn't anything that, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of been true of recent years too.
There's no Doomsday trailer.
Nothing too big. It felt like they didn't really do anything too big in terms of movies and stuff like that. I think we got one for the Spielberg movie that's coming out.
Oh yeah, that looks interesting.
Which, is interesting and stuff. Like there's some interesting stuff, but it's nothing felt groundbreaking. Like would have been cool to have a Spider-Man or an Avengers or just like a little Dune thing would have been cool. I don't even know if the Odyssey got one. I think we got like an Odyssey thing with the AFC Championship. We got a TV spot. It's like Travis Scott is in this. I'm like, okay,
All right.
All right. What else have you been up to?
Yeah. All right. So now moving into the anime corner, manga corner. I can't remember where I was. Probably had not finished Dandadan season 2 last time we talked. I can't remember when it ended, but it's ended a little while ago. But I know I showed you, Andrew, like an episode or two in the beginning of Dandadan. The one about the ghosts and the aliens. But season 2 wrapped up sometime last year. It's all on Netflix. Season 2 is fantastic. Season 1, season 2, like both really steady, like just a lot of fun. It's such a good mix of humor, comedy, romance, some horror elements to it. And it was one that I'm like, this is going to take a while. I kind of want to get into the manga. So I'm pretty far into the manga, like 100 and something issues in. And if season 3 is anything like the manga, it's going to be fantastic. Like it's going to be, because I think probably my only complaint of the first 2 seasons are there isn't like this big overarching arc. It's like a lot of like monster of the week kind of like mini arcs. And like they're fighting some yokai, they're fighting some aliens, and there isn't this large theme throughout. But then season 3 really gets into that, and it's probably going to be like a season 3, season 4 kind of event, and it's fantastic. Like reading some of those series, like had me tearing up at like some of the backstories that you get into it. So I think there's plenty of time to get into it because I don't think season 3 is going to come out till next year, 2027 probably. So got plenty of time, but it's all on Netflix, and it's fantastic. It's legitimately like one of the best manga or an anime that I've been watching recently. A pretty good one that we finished up, actually like completely wrapped up, was My Hero Academia, which I think probably would be up your alleys too. Like it's very X-Men adjacent. It's all about when people started getting superpowers, but not everyone gets them. So there does create this bit of like conflict between like the non-superpowered humans and the superpowered meta, whatever you want to call them. But it's all about like a school and the people that like in their school to be heroes, and it gets further and further along. But the season 8, I believe, wrapped up this past year, and it was a pretty solid ending. I think overall the ending not the strongest, but I think it did wrap up a lot of the story arcs nicely, and I enjoyed it. I really like the characters. I think if you like the typical like protagonist that's like, I'm going to try really hard, I'm just like really have a good heart, then you can really get into it. But there's a lot of other characters I think that are really compelling and would be approachable. And Bakugo is a really big one, kind of the bad boys, like the Vegeta of the group. But really interesting powers, really interesting battles. It's pretty good animation. I think very enjoyable if you like superhero type stuff and would like to see it in an anime. I would certainly recommend that one. It's 8 seasons is a good bit, but certainly pretty bingeable, and there's plenty of good arcs in between there to keep you busy.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a great one. The last one I'll shout out is the Rascal Does Not Dream series. So this is the same series as Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which is probably the most misleading title of an anime ever, because it's not about bunny girls. It's about like magical puberty. And
So is this a different series, a continuation of that one?
So then they're all called Rascal something.
Okay.
And the first season is all called Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl, but it's really about there's like different arcs within the series.
Okay.
And then they released 3 movies.
Oh, okay.
Which the first movie, that one fucked me up. Oh my God. Like between like there's some time travel shenanigans and deaths and stuff. Like that one was really quite heavy, but really good. And then it's finally all up on Crunchyroll. It was not available in the US for the longest time. I'm like, I could buy this Japanese Blu-ray for like $60 or try to legally stream it. And they finally put it on Crunchyroll. So it's all there.
Okay.
And then season 2 just launched. So then that one's called Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus, where he now starts seeing like Santa Claus.
Okay.
It's all about magical puberty. It's a lot of magical realism. It's really interesting, legitimately fantastic show that I would recommend. It's not as heavy, Andrew, on the like kind of like exaggeratedness of the animes. It's definitely like still rom-com element, and there's like a little bit of that here and there, but it's not super heavy on that. I'll say it's more of like teenagers like being dramatic in some ways.
Big long monologues, like big speeches.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's really interesting to like see a lot of things of how it differs in like Japanese culture and our culture, but it also is, I think, really cool because I haven't been to the city where it's based out of, but a lot of the towns do look kind of similar. So when we were out in the countryside in Japan, I was like, oh yeah, it looks exactly like this. Like this is very reminiscent. Or the cities, I'm like, oh yeah, it looks a lot like this. So it was nice to kind of just like see. Whereas you don't get that in like the superhero magical anime necessarily.
Nice. All right. Well, that's the anime side of things. You have anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, I mean, not getting to enough anywhere else.
Yeah.
So
okay. Fair.
That's those are the big things. But I think all 3 different styles that you all could get into depending on what you're feeling.
Sure.
All right.
Well, some interesting recommendations in there that I maybe at one point in my life will actually find.
There's
the time
some
to
Netflix,
explore.
there's some Crunchyroll. You know, there's different.
It's out there. It's accessible. You just gotta put the time in. I'm sure. So, all right. Well, Andrew, what's been going on with you? Anything exciting you want to talk about?
Yeah, you came down to Florida. That's fun. I guess
that's
more
true.
For you more than but you did come and visit one day, so that's good. I picked you up.
I did other things while I was there, but I did come and hang out, and you made a nice steak dinner, which was fun. We watched an unhinged throwback of a film.
Yeah, we watched the classic Tropic Thunder.
That's right. Well, you watched about 90% of it before the wine took hold, but
yeah, I got through. I'm proud of myself. I lasted quite a while.
Yeah, no, you did pretty good.
And but man, what a classic! That one's. I like that one a lot.
So funny.
Yeah, that's a funny movie. Very much a movie that would not be made today, but that's almost the beauty of it is how. On the line, at least, maybe a little over the line, but it's funny. It's good stuff.
It's all in good fun.
Maybe we'll talk about it sometime. We could talk about it. We did watch a movie. We could talk about it separately if we want. Not tonight.
Put it in our pocket.
Time. Maybe.
But yeah. So watched Tropic Thunder. Finished up Wonder Man. We're recording on a Thursday. Otherwise, I'd be caught up on the Pitt.
The new season?
Yeah, it's so good, dude. It's so good. Unbelievably good. And I feel like Bennett has the flu. Bennett got the flu. That sucks.
Oh, Bennett got the flu too. God.
Yeah, he got flu A though. He has the flu A.
Oh, I got the B.
The B flu. And we thought he was better. Like he felt great on Wednesday. And then he had a fever today. It's like, oh no. So it came back. But
and I feel like you mentioned to me when I happened to be down there that he just had strep like 2 weeks ago. So he's having a rough month of February, it sounds like.
Rough go of
poor
it.
guy.
What else? Trying to think. Oh, I think that's really about it. Just a couple TV shows. I think I'm gonna watch the Predator movie this weekend. It's out on the Disney.
It's on
Plus.
Disney Plus now. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I haven't
It's
seen
fun.
it yet. I've been wanting
would
to.
recommend.
Predator Badlands.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, well, I know something that probably both of you at least dipped your toes into, maybe did some figure skating on, and maybe some hockey and other things. Yeah. The Olympics are over now. Curling, you might have done some curling. You might have done some cheating if you're a Canadian team, with your little finger on the fucking stone. So I did want to at least bring it up. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about the Winter Olympics. I thought they were pretty fun, pretty enjoyable. I feel like I always get into like, so every 4 years, it's just like, oh yeah, I like this thing. I like the figure skating stuff is always really interesting, and seeing how the Americans medaled. I think the United States might have. I know when I checked, they were number 2. I think in golds, but I don't know because the hockey teams, both the women's and men's did win. Yeah. Gold for hockey, which was, the
commies over in Canada.
The men's win has turned into a bit of debacle, in the aftermath of it. But they got some McDonald's burgers to celebrate, so good on them. I guess, or whatever. But no, women's. I did watch the women's game. I didn't watch the men's game. It was the Sunday morning that I was in Florida, so I didn't actually have a chance to watch it, which was fine. But I did watch the women's gold medal game, and I thought that was a really incredible comeback. But the figure skating, I think, is probably the thing I'm always like most blown away by. Honestly, the skiing,
like gymnastics. It's like how the hell do you do that?
It's kind of that equivalent. I mean, like the skiing and stuff, like I've never skied in my life, but I can still tell that like I I don't know, but I can't even ice skate. So it's kind of just like, like just so many of these things. I'm just like, that's just incredible. What these people are capable of doing. Really enjoyed it. And just the routines are all just so impressive. So I really, really enjoyed all of what I did watch at the Olympics, which was not all of it. The opening ceremony was trippy as hell. I didn't watch the closing ceremony. Anyway. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I don't know if I cut anyone off there. I just started rambling about the Olympics, but
no, Brazil got their first medal in the Winter Olympics.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's a big one.
Lucas Pinheiro Batten, he won like the skiing slalom.
That's really cool.
Like against some big competition.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
I think because there were a lot of disappointments in one of the skating, like the free skate. I think Kazakhstan got their first like gold medal ever, which is it's cool to see some. I mean, you expect as I think as Andrew and I talked about when we were down there, like, the Scandinavian countries generally do pretty well in these sorts of things, kind of built for these types of events, have certainly the right geography to practice and stuff. But anyway, does anyone else have anything before I go into my last couple things that I'll mention?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Just wanted to make sure that the runway was clear because I flew down to Florida, as Andrew mentioned.
Yeah.
I hung out with Andrew, Sarah, and the kiddos for a night, which was fun. Tropic Thunder, as you mentioned. We had a brunch on Sunday, and then went off to Ocala, and I will say I spent most of my time in Florida day drinking and eating food, and it was pretty nice actually, and not working and not editing. So sorry that the 2026 episode did not come out at the end of February because I had aspirations of having it out at the end of February, and it's a short month. I'll blame it on that, but also because I went on vacation, and it was a proper vacation. So I'm actually not drinking beer on this episode because otherwise it would have been about 6 straight days of drinking, which is probably not advisable. What I will say is, Andrew and I went pretty hard Saturday night. Sunday, I did have to take a nap. I took a poolside nap, which was lovely, and then I went right back into it, and I had like 4 beers that night. So went on vacation or whatever. But it was fun.
Vacation doesn't count.
Exactly. It's just especially in Florida. To me, it's just like a different
what you do down
it's just
here.
a different country at this point,
Yeah.
it's just kind of divorced from reality. So you just divorce yourself from reality when you're down there. But it was fun. I had a good time. Saw my parents, which was nice. Had generally had a good time. Smooth flights. I guess the one thing I will say, I started Hades 2. I'm trying to get into the spirit of mythological things too, especially Greek mythology. So I did start playing Hades 2 on the Switch too, and it's a lot like Hades 1, which I loved and had a ton of fun with, and I'm having a lot of fun with Hades 2. So I did start that. But the last thing, like the only thing that I will talk about, there's been other things that I've watched that I will save for Brews News and Previews. I think whenever we get a chance to do that for March, because I have some, more fuller thoughts that, I don't want to plug in right here, so we can keep this on the tighter side, on the zippier side of episodes. But I did watch, kind of tying into the Winter Olympics and hockey and stuff, I did watch a show that has taken the world by storm called Heated Rivalry. Which is on HBO Max. And I wasn't sure at first. It jumps around a lot in terms of the time frame of what it is. And anyway, you guys have probably heard of the show, I would imagine, but for anyone that hasn't, it's two rival hockey players that get drafted, like number 1, number 2, and then they begin, a secret romance, which, and hockey world is taboo, to be openly gay and to be a hockey player is very much not a thing. And that's true to real life as well. And it kind of follows them as they, in their playing careers, as they sort of have these little dalliances, and maybe it builds into something a little bit more meaningful. And it's a 6-episode show. It's really, really jumpy in the beginning. Like it's like 2 weeks later, 1 month later, 3 weeks later, 1 year later, 2 years later. Like it is really, really all over the place. It's definitely a bit steamy. There's some butts going on for sure. We don't think we get anything beyond butts, but it's pretty full on. I guess just know what you're walking into, know who's going to be in the room, walking in and out and be like, what are you watching, sir? You feel comfortable. You feel comfortable, you know what it is. But I enjoyed it by the end. I know it's renewed for a second season, which I think is maybe shooting soon, or, probably a 2027 release. I thought it was quite good by the end. I think, the actors, Hudson Williams, Connor Story are both really good as these characters, and it felt a bit more genuine and real once I think the pacing of the show sort of settled in. So I would recommend it. I mean, it's it's a romance show. It's and it's a gay romance show. So I mean, it's a very specific sort of thing, but I think that it's quite good, and I would definitely recommend it. I think it was good. I would recommend it with the caveat of, hey, like it's going to be pretty spicy in parts, especially the early parts of that season are pretty full on, like I said. So,
Netflix has some pretty spicy stuff.
Yeah. And it's racy, but that's kind of what it is, So it's a little bit of smut,
I've heard good
but that's
things,
okay.
Been meaning to check it out.
But it's good. No, I think it's good. I think it's worth watching. And I think it's fun from the hockey side of things. I think it's it's good to see something like that with very open gay representation having such a massive audience and as much traction as it had, and it's kind of opened the doors to I think people being interested in hockey, which is cool too. So just all around, I would recommend it. So that's Heated Rivalry. I'll be back for season 2 whenever it comes along. I guess next year. But I think that's where I'm going to leave things. That's where I'm gonna put the pen in things for this episode, because then that leaves us with a nice sub 2 hour episode in which we've talked about a TV show, non-spoilers and spoilers, talked about what we've been up to, and some recommendations: anime, Heated Rivalry, Tropic Thunder. We've really covered it all. So
does that mean no one started Night of the Seven Kingdoms yet?
I have not. It's very much on my list, but have not started.
I have not
yet.
either.
I do want to get around to that. That's probably
my HBO.
Yeah, that's high on my list of things to start next. I think I've heard really good things. And I know it's done now, so it's 6 episodes to just watch. Whenever you have the time. So I might check back in on that next we record if I've started it at least. But yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, you can spread the word. We are on Patreon at patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. You can get early access to all of our regular episodes like this one, or timed exclusive access to any bonus episodes we record. Maybe Tropic Thunder. We'll see if we find the time. We did watch at least most of it. I watched all of it. I mean, I was drunk, but I watched all of it. And I've seen it before. But if not Tropic Thunder, then we'll do other things. I actually have an idea that I'm going to run past Andrew, which I meant to run past him when I saw him in person. I actually brought down recording equipment. We thought maybe we'd do something in person, but it just didn't happen. We ran out of time, unfortunately, and that's the way it goes. So it goes. But maybe next time. Anyway, our website's watchreviewrepeat.com. You can get links to all of our social medias that we're on. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/watchreviewrepeat. We're on Instagram at watchreviewrepeat. We're on Blue Sky, watchreviewrepeat.bsky.social, on YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can email us at watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. That way you can be a part of the future edition of the Listener's Corner. And if you've got something to say, send it our way. Intro and outro track would be Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Before we fully close and talk about what we maybe are covering next, which is not going to be the most informative thing, but we must say thank you to Henrique for coming on, hanging out with us.
Yes.
It was I think a tight turnaround for all of us. I think getting to watch the show and be free to record, but I know you've got a busy upcoming schedule. I literally flew in last night, so I'm, didn't get enough sleep, went back to work and was like, God, I think I should just go back on vacation. But we made it here tonight so that we could talk about Wonder Man. So we very much appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts and recommendations and everything.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I had a wonderful time.
Oh yes. Very good. Very good. Well, I don't know what we're doing next, I guess, to go back to that thought. We're kind of in a weird window. I don't think there's anything huge coming out that we're must see in theaters until Project Hail Mary, and that's a few weeks away.
I was going to say, that's a couple of weeks away.
But we're probably due for a Brews, News, and Previews because
a little BNP
action might be good. We've got some updated trailers for a lot of the stuff that we talked about on the 2026 episode. Big developments on the WB Netflix front that dropped today, but we'll have to save that. I know you were itching. You were champing at the bit to talk about the Cosmere adaptation stuff, which is very interesting, very exciting. So we definitely have plenty of things that we certainly could catch up on. So maybe it'll just make sense to do that. As maybe even our next episode. We'll see. We'll take a look at the release calendar, see if there's anything else. Maybe there's another show. Maybe Night of the Seven Kingdoms is a quick 6-episode binge that we have time for. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We will talk about it. But we are going to leave it there. I'll let Andrew take everyone out.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Laters on the Menjay.